Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another game event here at Acti on a lovely, yet again, super sunny Tuesday afternoon. At
So
least
lovely.
afternoon here for us. I'm not sure where everybody's joining in from, but if you like, please make a comment in the event here and say hi, say where you're from. We'd love to know. And while you guys say hi in the comments, I can say hi. I'm Ida. I'm the host of these game events every Tuesday, and today I have with me the CEO and founder of Acti, Leif Sørensen.
Here we
I
are.
will. Here we are.
I,
It looks like you need this, Life.
I do. Yeah, exactly. I was uh, I was actually trying to hi in the comments field, so that's why I was a little bit unconcentrated. I'm super sorry. Yeah, you
It's
have me
the
here.
this multitasking thing that we've talked
Yeah,
about, Life.
yeah, exactly. Multiple times. Not great at that,
No.
but that will come.
Do you want to make a quick introduction to yourself, Life, or do you
Mm.
have this feeling that everybody knows who you are?
I have that feeling all the time, but I'm not sure I'm right. That's for sure. I'm live. I'm the founder of Acti, and I consider myself as someone who is in charge of partially the product development. Where does it go? Where so I'm kind of bridging in between needs and requests, and then I have a very long legacy of the company, and I personally I am really enjoying what I do. I have great love for what it is that we do at Action. I get so proud when I see our tool being used out there, and I still get astonished by all the people who is using games, not only ours but games in general. Yeah, I can see it's a growing field, so that's an amazing experience being me for that many years, and then being us at Active for that many years. So I have a lot of people I should gratitude and send rewards to and thank for making it possible to do what I like the most, working with games. So
And that is what we're going to be doing today, of course. We are here for the games. And today's game is going to be a completely new Acti game. It was finished, I feel like, moments before this event today.
exactly.
So you guys,
Yes.
this is like fresh out of the oven, completely new. And it's a completely new topic for us as well, which is the topic of salary conversations, which is
Yeah.
super exciting, I think. But before we dive too deep into that, I would like to just quickly run through the program with you guys. We are going to have a little bit of an introduction to Acti if you don't know who we are. Then you guys are going to get a link so you can play the game, as well as Life and me, who are going to be playing the game up here online, so we can sort of facilitate the process a little bit. Then we're going to look at the sort of facilitator side of using Acti. What kind of questions and discussions can you go through? And if there's time, we would love to hear your questions and go through those as well. So without much further ado, I think we should just get started. And normally we start with this slide. I think this is probably the most used slide in the entire organization, right, Live?
I think so. We're very proud, and I'm actually most proud about the picture behind because it illustrates where people are logging into our games from in a month. So, and if you go with a year, we would cover even more countries who's playing games and using games to learn something. So it's an amazing picture. I get super proud when that comes on. So, and of course, I also get proud about being here for so many years, and I get proud about all the games that are there. I get proud about all the people, certified users who's actually using games and making it possible to use games in organizational changes and leadership development. And yesterday, like you said, that it's a new game we're playing today. And yesterday we even did a new game board and we tested. So it's like time of the year when we launch a lot of new things out there, and I really enjoy that. So, and we could not do that without our clients and partners to support us, the consultants who's using our tools, because we are not doing that. So, mhm.
All right,
So
thank you,
nice
Live.
slide. Thank you for bringing that up, Ida. Love
You're
that.
welcome, Live. And this is another slide that we love to take out and talk about, especially because there is, of course, this long list of pains that we all more or less have touched upon throughout our professional lives. And the thing is that, of course, pains are sort of shifting in waves, right? Then there's focus on leadership, then there's focus on change, then sustainability, and so on. So, of course, a lot of different pains come across our table here at Acti. But the beautiful thing about Acti, I think, is that you cannot make a game with only one pain. Normally, there are, I don't know, what would you say, like maybe 5 or 6 pains involved in each game?
I think very often it's actually very difficult to create a game with limited panes. So yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know whether it's 5 but there is often a lot. But I just did the test of looking into how many options and so on. And in that situation, I also looked into panes, and I
Mhm.
can see that the amount of panes that we are covering in newer games, not us, but games being developed by people out there, are covering less and less pains actually. So I think they are becoming more and more specifically targeting a specific pain that they want to solve, and they want to do it in a specific way, which I think is super great. And that's also why the games are. So it's also a sign of games being shorter.
Mm.
Games means less pains in one game, basically, or roughly.
And why do you think that the games are being more specific out there?
I think because you have less time, you have less of the sessions like we did yesterday, where you had a full day. We are part of a project where the project partners wanted to see implement facilitate a game. How do you facilitate as a facilitator a game process with a client, and implement designed a new process. We designed a new game and a new game board for that project specifically, and that was a full day. And those full days after Corona have almost vanished. It's not the most learning activity anymore. It's more like you have a slot of 2 hours, and if you have a slot of 2 hours and not a full day, you can cover less in those 2 hours. So that's why the need for smaller games is increasingly quite a lot. I could also see that on the games that have been developed. A lot of them are smaller. There are more, I think, 2 or 3 of the top 10 games played last year are smaller games or shorter games, and that has not been part of the list in the previous 10 years. So
Mm. We're not going to dwell on the pains topic for too much longer, Life, but just a
yes.
quick follow-up. Does it do something to the value when you kind of make it shorter and more precise? Like, I'm thinking you make it less complex by removing some of these extra pains around it.
Yeah, I think you have to connect it with time spent on the game. If you have more time spent on the game, you can also be more complex in your game design. So
All right.
less time, less complex. So it's in that space. But of course, more complex, more time, more learnings. It's almost like you cannot think the game is like a learning trick. You cannot throw a game at anybody and then suddenly the game is just doing the trick. That is not going to happen. It is really a the more time you spend game, the more you learn. It's like everything else. You read a book, you have read a book. If you talk about it, you know a little more. If you discuss it, you will have deeper understandings of the arguments within that book. Games have the same kind of value around it. It's just more fun. But the more you talk about, the more you reflect with others, the more you add games into the social domain, the better it is. But I really like discussing that topic, and I hope we can have time to go in more on that later on, because I really like
We
that
will
idea.
see if we can circle back.
Great.
All right. So, I there we go. The learning space, again, I don't want to dwell too long on this, but live, we did this thing last game event where like each acty person kind of had to pitch either physical
Yes.
or online. Do you want to do that again? Like do 20 seconds each?
I'll do 20 seconds. So the one on the left is asynchronic learning, someone playing by the mobile phone, playing your own game. You have less interactions unless you play the card games. Then you could have more interactions if you are together, either online or virtually. The next row of pictures, you see 2 pictures. You see the top one is the facilitation view that anyone facilitating a game have access to. That doesn't mean that you need to be synchronically together. It just means that a facilitator have a view where the facilitator can monitor options made, profiles created by players, and so on. And that goes on a game level. And the level and the pictures below is a picture showing two different setups. One is where you have a large group of between 25 and 30, and on the left side you have a picture of a larger group, 150, I think, where they play together. So it's just two different sizes of groups, but being together in the room at the same time. And then on the left side, you also have the playing option of playing by yourself. All of our games can be played in that way. And there's again a learning argument for why you should be able to choose how you want to play your games. And that learning argument is that the facilitator is designing it for a specific moment, either by yourself or together online or together in the room. And there are different ways that you can play according to that.
All right, thank you, Leif. I think it was a little longer than 20 seconds, but I think that you managed to get probably all of the really great insights in that. So thank you for that.
Good.
All right, so the game we are playing today, as I mentioned, is completely new and is about, it's called the salary scale. It's about the discussion that you have, that we all have once in a while with our, with our manager or our leader, our boss, to kind of discuss, okay, where are we heading? How are we doing, right? And I don't know why I haven't thought about this before, but this is a genius game, in my opinion, because literally everybody can play this game. Like, it doesn't matter where you are, which level you're at. It is sort of the same principles that we all need to kind of keep top of mind when having these little bit tougher conversations. And Leif, you are actually the leader here at Acti and have these conversations with your employees. Do you want to just, as a little tease, kind of mention why you think that this game could help in this process of having these tough talks?
I think what is interesting is, as you said, that a lot of people we are all in the situation where we have to negotiate our salary, and it's important to understand how you actually do that in the best way, and the game is designed for anyone to go through that situation, prepare, think about the different elements that you need to add in. And in the BATNA model, it's kind of, or the game is allowing you to play with a model and a good negotiation model of how to enter that situation of negotiating with your superiors on your salary. And I think it's a great way to understand the process, because sometimes you might, as a colleague, think that you are entering a negotiation on equal terms, and you are not. Because you can have a situation where the company is struggling. You have a situation where it's doing really good. You can have a situation where your role is very important or your role is less important, and so on. And all of those things should be taken into consideration, and not only the emotional part of I want more salary. It should for sure be a prepared process that both parties are equally preparing for. So that's why it's and in the thank you. And in this specific situation, I just want to say one thing is that negotiation is in this game just targeting salary, but negotiation in sales is quite often there. Negotiation in amongst the team. So it's a thing that you should know about. What's a good way of negotiating anything? So.
Thank you, Leif. And now that we're on this topic, I just went on to the next slide, which is this BATNA model that we are using as a theoretical layer in the game, which has these three elements, right? Leif, which is what you need to negotiating, which doesn't matter if it's salary or sales, as you mentioned. It's the same three elements, right?
Yes, it's the same three elements, and basically in any important. But let's talk about out of a salary process. So the one thing that you need to do is you need to prepare and you need to have options. That means that if you're coming into a negotiation process and saying this is what I want, there's one thing you can rely on if you are in a professional company. That is that you're not going to get it. So that's not negotiating, that's demanding, and that's actually the wrong approach. You have to come in and say, this is why I think I want this. This is what I would like to do, and this is the options. And you always have to have the mindset we are probably disagreeing. So I need to have different options. So that's like one thing. Then you have to understand your bargaining power and your risk. What am I putting on here, and how much does it mean to me, or if it's in a salary position. And bargaining power sounds a little bit like technically thing. It's almost like it's detached for us as human. It's not. It's actually thinking, okay, so what tasks am I solving? How important are they? And that leads greatly up to timing and information management below, which actually ties into, okay, so when you, if you want to be strategically thinking, you should think, when is my task mostly important for my superiors? So those are the three elements that you should take into consideration, and they all requires preparation. It's not something that just comes out of the blue. But the main, if I should give anyone any advice, it should be, please believe that you are disagreeing, and prepare for disagreement. Do not prepare for I get what I want, because that's not the case in any negotiation.
I think, Leif, you deserve this.
Yeah, I love that. Nice
I
one.
think that that's gonna help a lot of people out there. Just knowing you're probably gonna disagree. I
Yeah.
feel like that's a big step in kind of the right direction.
Yeah, be good at that. Be good at disagreeing in a nice way, and you're going to achieve much more. So basically, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the model that this game is kind of based upon. If you didn't quite get it, it doesn't matter. You can play the game, and when you get your data, it should hopefully make a little bit more sense to you.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we are gonna play the game
Nice.
in a minute, but I think before that, I think we need to just move for 10 seconds. What do you think, Leif?
I'm ready, always. It's late in the afternoon.
All
We
right.
need that.
We need that, especially when it's so hot in our office.
Yeah.
Okay, so in a minute, we are going to send out the game link to you guys. It's going to pop up in your comments. I'm just quickly, before that happens, going to show you how you actually then get into the game. So as soon as you click the game or the link, you're gonna get to a site like this. If you are an active user, then just post it in an incognito, and you shall have no problems. You add your name quickly, or nickname, anything you like. You can add a position. It doesn't really matter that much for now, but I will let you know later why. And then you join the session. And here we are with the starting board, and you can play the game. And that is, I think, the most important button is these green and orange buttons that will make you continue in the game. I'm just quickly going to show you the game board here. Sorry,
Sure. Before you do that, Ida, I just want to say, if anybody is starting to log in on the mobile phone, they need the session ID. So we need to add the session ID into the comments field, because you won't be able to get in if you click on the link, because you can't directly in comments field go from the event to the actual game. So you need the session ID, and that means before you click there, you will need to enter the session ID, and then you enter your name.
Yeah, and if you're having any troubles at all, please just write in the comments, and we'll have one of our colleagues help you get in if it's making a menace. All right, but this is the game board we're going to be working on. It's called Bubbles because we have these circles that are kind of adding and removing points as you go through the as you go through the scenario. Yeah, Leif, what do you think? Is there anything important here that we need to talk about? I think it's very simple. It's only three circles.
No, there is nothing you need to add in except for one thing. I'm just adding posting the link, either because I think nobody has it except for me. So there it goes. Upload. There it is. I think the link is now in. And there is a space between salary and 17/6. So remember that when you try to log in. Yeah, no, there is nothing except for the fact that the game board has 3 elements that will be affected by the choices that you make. It will either increase your salary, so you can see whether your option is potentially increasing your salary, or it will give you a boss gratification. I did not. That's a nice way of doing.
Gratitude.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then the last one, I don't think these has been optimized actually. And then you have a salary reduction. So I can either go increase and you get points, or you can reduce your salary, or you can give your boss gratification. So
Mhm.
that's
And
how you get points.
you will get like a intro text when you start playing the game, and I highly recommend you don't skip that because then you don't really know what you're basing your choices upon. But what you do is you click the continue button once you are ready. You've read your introduction, you know what's happening, and then you have 4 answer options, and that will be the same for each chapter. And then you just choose one. So I'm just going to choose one here, and then you get a result text, and you move on to the next chapter. So without further ado, I'm just going to say you guys start playing the game, do some exploring, see what you like. Live, are you ready to play this game?
I'm in. I'm already in. So I'm ready to play. So I'm opening up now and moving on. Have you already made your first decision, Ida?
I just did. I
Okay.
just did.
What did you lost weight? You lost salary, I can see.
Salary reduction 15. But
Oh,
yeah.
not good.
So I actually went with I think it was the latest one, the last one, which was just to to observe, to kind of just see what happens, wait until my boss sort of makes the first move to kind of, I don't know if it's correct, but there's this old saying that the first person who mentions a number kind of loses. I don't know how actual that is anymore, but in my mind, that was just natural to kind of wait for the boss to give his play off.
All right. Yeah. I got less point. I got 10 points. I don't understand why. But came up with an ambitious negotiation. I added a real what I thought was realistic to um, uh, a realistic proposal, and that did not work. I'm not sure why. So you are ahead of me now, Ida.
Well, well, well.
Not
There
good.
you go.
I got
Right.
10. What did you get? You got
I got
15.
15.
Damn.
Yeah. So
Let's move on.
let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And I think actually this first question, if I remember correctly, it was like your thoughts about what should happen in the meeting. So it's like the eve before, and not actually in the meeting itself. And why do you think, Life, that like in a game with 6 questions, why do you think one of 6 is focused on like how you are doing the evening before having this discussion?
I think because you need to prepare and you need to take it seriously like an important meeting or anything that is important to you. It's like it's giving you the best fundament to improve your life. Like what type of life do you want? Or it's an important thing. Don't leave it out. It's not only saying something about your salary. It's also saying something about what you can do in your spare time, and it says something about your value. It says something about a lot of things. So take it really serious. Do not let it go like it's nothing. So
Mm.
it's really important. So I think.
Yeah, it's just like when you choose to take, what is it then, like quite a big part of a game to even before the discussion, then there must be a reason, right?
Yeah,
All right.
there is a reason, and that's why basically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
All
I'll
right,
make
and
the
then
next decision.
yeah, so because the next time here we move into the actual meeting, which is then like, okay, so how do you now start your salary negotiation?
Yeah.
I think I'm going with have you made your choice, Live?
Not yet.
Okay, meanwhile, I guess I will just jump into the host view so I can see both of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to stick with the same.
Here we go. You stuck with the same?
Yeah.
Okay, I went with a different one.
Okay.
Uh,
I've kind of puzzled a little bit by salary increase and salary reduction. I have to ask Mohammed what he means by that.
Yeah, I got a little bit confused too, but
Yeah, maybe it's almost like it's opposite. We have to have his explanation for that one. But let's have a look at it.
okay, but it seems like I am a little bit ahead of you now live. So this is the host view where I have checked off myself and live as viewers on the big board here where we can kind of analyze the data.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we're even in the salary increase so far and even in the boss gratification so far, but our salary reductions are not quite the same.
Mm. No, that's because you probably took a better choice than me, didn't you? Yeah, you
So I
did.
actually chose this very realistic proposal, which was,
Mm-hmm.
coming with my thoughts, my number, and backing it up with my results and how I've helped the company,
Mm.
which I felt was like that was a very logical thing to do.
Yeah.
What did you choose?
I chose the same as I did in option one. I still kept with the realistic but ambitious salary proposal. That was my go-to.
Okay, so we actually did choose the same this time round.
Yeah, but why did you then get probably because it's building on your first option. You probably did different in the first option than I did, so maybe it's actually
Mm,
building on the same. Because I don't know how Mohammed built it, but it's probably building on the same on the previous choice that you make, and then you get different points here. That could
mm.
be.
I could imagine that. But let's see if we can make it
Yeah,
even more crazy. I'm just gonna beat you with with so many points that you don't even know what hit you live.
it's great to test new games. I really like that. It's really
Yeah,
fun, but it's also very surprising sometimes, right? When you don't know a game that well.
especially when you do theory or methodology, kind of wrap your head around it before you can somehow get it like before the illustrations on the game board make sense.
Yeah,
And I think that's always a interesting process because at some point it just clicks and then it really makes sense.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anchoring a concept from negotiation theory on behavioral economics, you will be presented with four tactics, only one of them which actually strengthen your position. Oh, okay, so it have to be that one that strengthen our position. The others may seem or human, but they will weaken your emotional, strategically, or in terms of credibility. Okay, so there is one option here which should be better than the rest. Okay, nice.
Okay.
Um, uh, okay, I think I got my choice.
Okay. I think I have my choice too.
I think we
Okay.
took the same, Ida.
Oh, value creating.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, nice. Total score 42. Woo.
okay.
Nice.
And what does that mean for our host view? 47. Yeah. So we're still working in the same point gap as in the last chapter. But that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. And why did you choose that one? Like I thought it was it again made sense,
Yeah, I think
but
so too.
why not use the why
I
not use the I other companies want me, I can have other options, I can leave. Why not use that one?
Yeah, because I think that was more like a risk management option, and that was not strategically at this point in the negotiation that you should be like looking for ways to run. Because if you can be sure, if you're in a salary negotiation, if you push that, you push it into this is what I want, you actually get more. You get less positive value back, because anyone will think, okay, so that person is willing to run off or leave the company, and that is not creating credibility. So that is, you should only drag that card or throw that card if you are leaving. If you're not in that position, you create unsecureness with your employee, and that's not a great thing, because that will create uncertainty both ways.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
All right, ready for the next chapter?
I am, yeah. I just got a note from Mohammed that actually salary reduction should maybe start on points and then you extract it out. That sounds more like
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So let's see if we can do that after today.
And of course, you guys sitting out there playing with us, if you have any thoughts on this, please again let us know. We would love to have your input on this new game.
Please do so.
All right.
Okay, next chapter here. Nice.
So in this chapter, it is about understanding where the line lies between courage and recklessness, which actions strengthen your position and which can completely undermine it if you read the situation wrong. So misassessment of risk can have major consequences. Okay?
Yeah.
So which move can have the greatest negative consequence if you misjudge it during a salary negotiation?
Okay, so here we have to illustrate that we actually know something. Oh, that's a trick.
So we have to find the worst option.
Yeah. Okay, nice. Nice one. I made my choice.
All right.
And I can tell you it was a bad choice.
The worst choice?
Yeah. I did not get, it might have been, but I got no points. You took the same either.
Damn it.
Yeah, damn it.
But then we just talked about it. Okay, so one of the options was to kind of threaten about another job.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
I was also.
You just said it live. That must be the worst one.
Yeah, I thought so too. But it depends on, I don't remember whether it could also be, regardless of which one you take, you are going to lose points now. And maybe the salary reduction, you got 20 points there. So maybe the complexity here is that we actually did a good choice because we only lost 42 points, or we only lost 0 points here. So we didn't lose anything. That could be the argument of the game.
That would make sense.
That would make sense, yeah.
Then I'm worrying a little, or like not worrying, I'm wondering, like, okay, what do you think was the worst choice then, if not ours?
I still think it was ours. I think the logic is probably, I don't know the point scale, but my guess would be, I don't know if any others took other choices in this specific chapter, but my guess is that we got 0 points, which is the best option you can make. If you made any of the other options, you would lose points. To see what
I'm having the facilitation guide here. That's maybe why it's making a little bit of noise. But I actually have a cheat sheet, one might say, as to the points. So the data without context would be scoring 10 points.
Okay.
And then asking for the feedback in stormy weather would score you 5 points. And the two others scored you 0.
So the first one is supposed to be the best option. The first option, which one was that?
I guess the worst option.
Yeah, okay.
That was the one called data without context. So that's when you're like connecting all of your data, but you're not putting it in reference to anything in regards to the organization or the company. You're just kind of saying, oh, I'm really good at this.
But, okay.
like
Yeah. Okay.
without
That's also
kind of using
okay.
it in
Maybe
some kind of way.
okay. So that's also that could potentially also be be a problem, of course. I'm not sure whether it's worse than the other one. I think if I, from a personal point of view, I would consider the last one as the worst one. That will create most, but maybe the other one would create the most like direct impact. Like right now,
Yeah.
yeah, just mumble about other colleagues and not checking out, not being prepared is of course a really bad thing in the moment because you won't get any value out of it. But in the long term, I think I still would believe that the last option is the worst option you could throw in, unless you have a better job to fall back on, of course.
I
Could
was
also
about to
be.
say, as a leader, how many times can you use this? Like, I can get another job before you, as a leader, are like, okay, bye.
You can't use it, not even once. I've had discussions about it, and I've sometimes actually been open about it. Said that, you know what, I understand your point of view, but I have to say, if you say that one more time, it's going to have an impact on our relationship, because you
Mm,
have to be trusting. It cannot be like you can never add a person over the company's well-being.
no.
So you can't have have a person who can threaten your stability in the company. That will never work, regardless of who it is. And that goes from me discussing with my board to anyone in the company. It's not like it's a ground rule for anyone. So
Mm,
never do that.
don't do that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there was this other bad choice, which was like asking for feedback, sort of just out of the blue in this conversation. Why do you think that's a bad choice?
I think it's because it's detrailing. You're both in positions of negotiations. So if you detrail that like mindset, if you didn't prepare, you didn't have the structure for moving on, and I think that's a problem if you don't do that for sure.
Mm. All right, let's dig in the last two chapters live,
Yeah, let's do that.
or one at a time. But let's do it.
Yeah,
All right. So this chapter is about what if you in this conversation are being refused a pay raise?
yeah,
How do you continue the discussion?
yeah. That's a good dilemma.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Have you
all
ever
good
had
dilemmas.
to to have a conversation like this live?
Yeah. You as a leader, you have those conversations. You can't. I mean, everybody at our company, everybody's worth much more than they get. I mean, I have no way of meeting people's requirements. We are a small company. It's never possible as a startup and as someone who has ambitions on different stuff. But there's nobody making money. But it's always a situation for leaders in any of the companies. It really is, and that
Mm,
means that that you are having those conversations, but you have to be what is called open book management. You have to like show the rationale behind. You can't just reject anyone because they might leave the meeting and think that it's actually because you don't have any you don't you if you don't give the rationale and the stories and the why to
mm,
people, they will think that it's something with them, it's something with the competences, and it is actually something with the company's structure or the company's economy or the company's something, and that have to be open to everyone. And then it makes sense for people. I often think of Corona in that situation where a lot of people were needing to go down in salary. Some even got
mm,
fired and had to come back and so on. And I think generally speaking, employees and people wants to do good for both. You have to be not a very good workplace if you are not a thriving workplace if that's not the case, or you have to be a bad leader if that's not the case. And I think you have other things to struggle than pay raise.
mm,
But it wouldn't be a company I would create or be part of. I want to be able to be honest in that sense. And it's also
mm,
obvious. It's obvious for people who needs more salary. It's not like a magical thing. Oh, so this is. We all know sales are getting more. We all know that who needs the next salary pays. it might be unclear, but we do know that. And it's not and it have to make sense for people. If it doesn't make sense, somebody's getting too much pay. So
Mm.
I
And
believe in that.
and as a leader, like you just said, having this openness about it is, of course, kind of bread and butter in the situation, right? But do you then? Okay, let me see if I can phrase this without confusing you. I'm just thinking, having this salary conversation, right? You are kind of putting yourself out there. You're kind of, okay, it's my competences, it's my work we have to discuss, and we're putting a very tangible number next to what I deliver, right? So like somehow in my mind, that is kind of my worth.
Yes.
So if I'm then going into a discussion and sort of arguing for my worth, that I am better than this, I should be getting more than this. And you, of course, are saying, okay, that is not an option because of this and this and this. Do you then, like, is it, I'm assuming, because I work for you, that most people are fine with this and know that we are doing everything we can as a team and a company. But I'm just wondering, do you have some kind of go-to, like how do you sort of say no to someone without kind of hurting their personal worth or their feelings about themselves?
I think we all get hurt from having too little in salary somehow. But my intention is always to make sure that you kind of realize that it has nothing to do with your competences. It has nothing. We can't compete with other companies out there. And if I could, everybody would have as big a car as mine. And I drive a Golf, by the way, so I don't have a big car. But I think it's important to have the transparency. And if you have that transparency, it's much more obvious why. And if somebody, it doesn't make sense if you like have a society where somebody is super rich in the company and others are not getting paid what they're supposed to. That would, in my mind, I would not build such a company. I would not be part of such a company either. You have to have the make sense argument, and make sense requires transparency on one hand, and also transparency in the power difference, because being the boss, you have the power. You are the one that decides. So you have to be brave enough to be transparent. But it doesn't change the negotiation situation, because if you have done your homework, you would know this, and you might go in there and say, I know that I can't get what I want, but what about this? And what can you benefit me in that way? Can you? And that's if you want good advice from the boss, it's basically, do not go with one approach like in the beginning. Go with more, have alternatives. Say, but what about this? Could it be this? Can it be hours? Can it be salary? Can it be PC? Can it be, I don't know, anything that you might benefit from also. Add that into the equation, because then it becomes difficult for any leader to negotiate. So I don't know.
Right.
I'm
That was
just talking a lot here. So
I think that was a great answer, yeah, Live. Did you actually make the? I know I distracted you, but did you manage to make a choice the next time round?
I did not. Yeah, I think I take this one.
Which what did you choose?
I took the second last one, the third one, yeah, the forward-looking.
Theory.
Yeah, it's almost too obvious, right?
I mean, I chose the same one, so I think that was a fairly easy one.
Yeah.
But I also think that like, of course, the other ones, which were kind of to just kind of give up or like just wait till next year, would not sit well with me personally if I felt like I needed something new to happen. So that was kind of the proactive way to do it.
Yeah. But sometimes you actually end up in that one, right? You can get really frustrated, and you can end up in that situation where you kind of, okay, I have to do it next year. And there's this motivational theory. I don't know whether it's taken offspring, but it's a nice understanding of salary negotiations, because there is this motivational theory that says that salary is actually just it has a very short impact on your motivation. It's what we call a consistent factor, which means that it doesn't do any good for your performance. It doesn't do any good for. So it's a thing that you negotiate, and then you get happy, and then it doesn't mean anything afterwards. So we do not tend to be happy about getting higher salaries. We get happy about achieving our goals, and goals are not necessarily connected to your salaries. So achieving something is not a salary increase. That's a nice thing, but it's not impacting your well-being or thriving at work. That's something else, and that fluctuates much more in a personal life. So you have much more feelings about your achieving you. I'm not meaning you directly, either meaning us as employees. We have much more engagement in achieving what we set out to achieve in smaller like terms. And sometimes we can achieve a lot, and sometimes we can't achieve that much, because we are also human beings who have a house and dog and partner and a lot of other things. So but that's important to understand. So it's an important moment now, but it's not an important for the well-being of the person.
Thank you, Leif. Let's do the last question and see if you're gonna manage to beat me. I'm thinking that you're not, but you can try.
You're in a 67, so okay, last option to beat you.
Last option to beat me.
Okay.
Okay, and my screen's not up there, so you can't see anything. All right. So this last question is about external factors. So which external factor can most effectively strengthen your position in a salary negotiation if you use it strategically and informed? I'm going to add a little bit of exciting music because it's the last question.
Nice. I've made my choice. I really hope I get a lot of points. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You're making me distracted. I'm not even able to read these answers.
I'm actually negotiating right now. I'm pushing you to make a wrong choice, Ida. It's like being the goalkeeper.
I wouldn't say you're negotiating. I would say distracting.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
probably a much better word to use.
Yeah. I'm improving my position.
Okay. I made a choice.
You did?
A quick choice. Okay.
Ida, I can see the point.
No, did it? Okay, I'm opening up host view here before before Leif gets too excited.
I think we need to
and I click down in chapter 7.
Yeah.
Hey.
Damn. How can that be?
Ha.
How damn.
And this is for you, Leif.
Damn. I was not distracting you enough. Damn. Okay, I almost got top score then. I'm not satisfied. I don't want to.
But since we're here live, this is the host view for those of you out there not quite knowing what's happening on the screen. Leif, do you want to mention what you think is the best thing about the host view?
Yeah, I think just two things. I think these are imagining that I was actually considering going in and removing the salary reduction in this session, because we can all, if you have a game at Acti, you can change anything that you see on the screen. But the big thing here that you can that is valuable is that you can actually monitor how people are playing. And if you take me off, can you take me off of the side there? Then you can see now we are only looking at Ida. Ida is the red part. So here we can monitor Ida's points in the game, gaming wise. But that is not, if you ask me, the strongest position. But this is more like following how people are how they are playing, how many points did they get, what option did they make in chapter 6, and so on. So it's like a gaming if you click there, you can see. So a facilitator can see, okay, so Ida took the option 1, industrial data for the company's economic cycle, and so on. So it's a way of reflecting in the classroom or online with a group of people. So that's a nice way to reflect, why did you make that choice? How did you make that choice compared to live or anyone else who's playing that that game. If you then go to profile, I think that's the power tool, because here you can actually see, now we are measuring Ida against Ida, but if you take life as choice up there, you can then see how have Life and Ida played the game when it comes into the BATNA model, the negotiation model. And here we can see that we have been taking almost the same persuasion and option choices. Life has taken timing and information management to 13 or 16%, and bargaining power and risk management, Ida has been more focusing on those, and Ida won the game. So that allows me to think, okay, so if I should have done more as a player towards, or if I should have won the game over Ida, I should have had your profile in my options. And that should call for a reflection with me. So what was actually the bargaining power and risk management choices that I did not do? Where was it that I went wrong, and so on? So that's like one level that you can do here, and that also calls for a reflection with the for the facilitator. So the facilitator here can also reflect with me and or with you and say, why have you not taken any timing and information management choices? What did you think was bad about that, or did you at all think about those options, and so on? So the level of debriefing that you can do with the host view is quite deep and quite cool, because it works on theory. And if a game has more than one theory, you can shift between the theories and see how that works. And you can also now this game only have one, but you can also when a game, now this is a really new game, we just launched, we just tested it now actually. But if you go to compare leadership level options over there, you can actually also when more people have played, and some of our games has thousands and thousands and thousands of players on it, you can then see this game's profile from others who have another organizational level than you. So that means that I can measure against my peers, I can measure against my colleagues, I can measure against project managers, learning and development, and so on. So you can see the same game and measure your own results against others who's played the same game. And that value is really high, and it also comes to the player. So now you're looking at it from a host view, which is the facilitator view, but me as a player, I can now see it on my screen, so I can see the same, but I can only compare with everybody. So that's the difference. But you as a facilitator have access to a more like this one. This is the player profile that you get as a player, which is cool. It gives me enough information. It should make me want to play again, to revisit the learnings and so on. But generally speaking, from a facilitator point of view, you have a much more deeper opportunity to debrief with a group from the host view on the data, and that's the power here, if you ask me. Not only the game, because this is where you can actually teach me something new or direct the players to have another focus, and then hide the value from a gaming session. And here you can see how you compare to others. You can see on the three underlying elements of the theory, there is a description what's positive and negative about the theory, and you can see you have not taken any of these options, but others who's played the same game has one. That means that 10% have taken that option, or others who played this game have valued these options with 10% out of 100. So quite interesting debriefing here that should, all in all, make you want to do it differently and play the game again, potentially.
And I'm thinking you should probably have touched upon these three, right? Like it would probably have given me better points if I had managed to hit every one of these three elements, I'm assuming.
I am also assuming that, but since it's a totally new game, I don't know, and I don't know the theory that well enough. I'm more speaking out of Imperial references, so or empiric references. So I don't know it well enough to know, and I didn't build the game down to that detail. But I'm also assuming if you like had any of the free or all of the free ones, you would probably have a higher score within the game. But I'm also thinking, I'm wondering if there is a process. Should you prepare your options first? Yes, of course you should. should you have your bargaining power and risk management prior to the meeting, or is that also an element within the salary negotiation? And timing and information management, is that also or maybe it's actually both? It's also something that happens within the moment, but maybe it's also happening prior to the negotiation. So I'm also considering whether there is a process attached to the theory here. But I'm clearly getting more interested in knowing more about BATNA. So
Definitely.
that's a value from
Because
playing the
I'm
game.
thinking this last element, the timing and information management, when I read this theory the first time, I was like, but the meeting is booked. So the timing is already set. And since it's a discussion about salary, then the
Mm,
timing is
mm.
probably right for that discussion.
Yeah, but maybe it's a timing of when you add your argument is also part of it. And
Yeah, so like
if you
if you are bargaining before you are before you are kind of giving an offer, or what you mean?
exactly,
Yeah.
or have I provided the right information before I bargaining? Have I
Mm.
put out my results before I start saying what I want? So that's also a kind of a controlling thing, which is very important. I think in any negotiation process, it's important. So.
I think you're right. Okay, so I see how we actually are only having 5 minutes left.
Mhm.
So I just want to open up the option of asking a question in the comments if you are here viewing. Also, if you are viewing this in a few days as a recording, we will still be monitoring the comments chat. So if you have a question, just write it in the comments, and we will either Live Y or one of our colleagues here at Acti will get back to you. And definitely, if you have any thoughts or ideas about this game, the theory, the setup, we would really love to hear your feedback. It's always great when it's something completely new. So if
Exactly.
you have any questions, type them in. While you're doing that, I'm just quickly going to mention that this is actually the last game event we're having before the summer break, which means that we won't be back with having game events until the 2nd of September. But we will then have one each Tuesday for the remainder of the year. And most of them are actually already published on our LinkedIn page. So feel free to go in and participate in those. And as soon as you've clicked participate, it also gives you access to loading the previous recordings of the previous live events. So even if you can't make it, it makes sense to go and click that you are participating. All right.
And there's a lot of old events. 69 past events. Wow.
We've done
Nice.
this a few times now, huh?
Yeah, we have. Great. Awesome.
I am just checking the comments.
I don't think there is one. I think we can cover it afterwards.
I agree. All right. Any final remarks, Live, in that case? Any final comments, tips, and tricks as a leader and manager having these discussions from, the other side of the table, actually having a little bit the power? Do you have a tip for us?
No, I don't. I think if you listen to this events, I think all of my tips and observations and are in there. So that's all good. I don't think I have anything more to add in, to be honest. So
You've given a lot of great tips, but it sounds a lot like you just don't want to give it to me because I could potentially use it against you next time.
I
But
think you should use all the tricks that you have in such a situation. Of course, I really do. Uh, as you know, I'm a very socialized person, so
all right. Well, thank you so much, Live, for being here today and helping me showcase this new game. I'm really
nice.
excited to see where it goes. So keep tuned with Acti, see what happens, see how this kind of could grow. And then, other than that, just have a great day, have a great summer, and I'm excited to be back here again with you guys in September.
Great, yeah. The new set of really uh, cool events I can see we already did. So super awesome.
Absolutely. We've got good things in store for you guys. So see
See
you
you.
then.
See you.